Colin Heckroodt is the first of, I hope, many homeschool alumni who is willing to share their experience with us. He finished his mechatronics studies last year, focusing on robot programming, and is currently working at BMW in Pretoria. Colin, what does your job entail?
Currently, my job entails basically a managerial position. So I'm in charge of a certain section of the line that actually builds the body of the car. So I don't really work with the paint or the engines or anything. We basically just build the frame. And then my responsibility is to manage the maintenance and production teams that work on that particular area. To be precise, my area is the framing section of the car. So we mount the 3 layers of sides onto the car as well as the roof. And then that is my position, yeah. Very grateful. It's a wonderful, wonderful position to have, and very grateful to be working for a company like this.
What did you enjoy about being home educated?
Where to begin? It's I would say what would be the childish answer would be I didn't have to get up early. That was probably the best part. But no, on a more serious note, I really enjoyed the time with the family. I really enjoyed the flexibility in learning. Not being limited to a fixed pattern. Even though I do believe in structure, I do believe in discipline and obviously routine. But it was living and learning at the same time. You didn't really distinguish between the two after a while. And so the flexibility with which I could do my work, as well as focus on work, that I wasn't so good at, as well as spend less time with the work that wasn't as important for my career going forwards. Even though I do always encourage as many subjects as possible that to allow yourself options for when you do move further on in life. The family time was a big one. It was really incredible to be able to go surfing with my dad, and my sister. The 3 of us go in the morning and then come back in the afternoon. That was a real blessing, and as well as take holidays when everybody else is in school. So I remember all my fellow public school friends, they were always jealous at particular times in the year. And I was just really grateful for the flexibility and the attention. I think the focused attention was also something I really enjoyed. The focused attention from, I don't think one can ever replace the love and care and dedication of a proper parent. And I'm forever grateful for that, and so I think a lot of people, the question I often get asked is would I home educate my own kids? And the answer is definitely yes. I would love to, Lord willing, and definitely give them a taste of what I got to have growing up.
When did you start home educating? I think your mom said that you were in school for a time.
Yes, my sister was up until grade 2. I was up until grade 5. So we moved a lot growing up. I think we moved about 15 times total. So we were on the run, mostly relating to Dad's work and things like that. So started in school in East London, then in George. I was in 4 different schools there as well, but actually did enjoy my time in public school. In those first few years, I have no real regrets there. But once we left, we decided, okay, this is the route we're going to go as a family and pursue homeschooling at around about grade 5. Never looked back. From day one, we knew it was the right thing, and we are so grateful that is the route that we chose to take. Yeah. So from grade 5, I had just started grade 5. I remember, if I turn back the clock, grade 5, and then finished all the way through to matric with home education. Yeah.
What do you think are the disadvantages of being home educated?
Disadvantages, I think a lot of when I was younger, I mean, I'm 27 now already, and if I think back, there were things that I thought were disadvantages actually did not turn out to be disadvantages. So I think I would think a lot of homeschoolers would relate to the struggle of not really having anybody to compare to. not that that's what life is really about all the time, but in an educational way, you're not always sure, how am I doing? You know, is ek slim genoeg? You know, am I on the ball? Am I able to compete out there in the real world? And you know, and so there is a little bit of a doubt that sometimes hangs over you. So that could be a disadvantage, I do believe. But if the exposure is correct, you know, if the parental guidance is what it should be, and the preparation is what it should be, then pretty much all those disadvantages faded away, especially once I got into the workplace. Once I got into the working environment, it alleviated a lot of uncertainties that I had growing up. So that would be one. Another disadvantage, I can't really think of any. I'm well acquainted with both sides of the equation. You know, for example, I'm very thankful for the wonderful school teachers I've got friends that are school teachers, and they are doing an amazing job. So I'm well acquainted with both sides of the spectrum. I always enjoyed watching rugby at the school rugby and things like that. So very involved, I would say, in a school environment, except in the classroom. And I honestly can say I don't feel at all like I missed out on anything. In fact, I've lived an incredible youthful life, and still am. And so no, I think some disadvantages could, if I were to think of other examples that I maybe know, is, you know, if there's not a total commitment from both parents. I've seen that have some negative effects in some homeschool families. Maybe some, you know, parents might not be as equipped as they would like to be, and therefore it has an effect on the children, and maybe a lack of preparation for the real world. Although I don't think school is better preparation for the real world. In fact, I think the opposite. But that's my personal opinion. I won't force that on anybody, but no, I can't. Other than doubts that I had going through that path and not quite knowing, am I measuring up to what it takes to make it out there? Other than that, I can't really think of any disadvantages now.
You mentioned friends at school, and I'm sure you get asked this question as well. Were you locked up in your room, not allowed to see other people, or did you have friends, and how did you socialize?
I don't know, socialize. Yeah, that was probably up until about 5 years ago. That was probably the most common question I got asked. I know you'd go to birthday parties, or you'd go to, as you say, friends in school, or especially when it came to my friends' parents. My friends never asked those questions. They never asked questions about socializing or anything like that. But my friends' parents often did. They often said, "Oh, shame, poor you. Have you got friends?" And then I would say, "Yeah, I'm actually friends with your son or daughter." But no, definitely there's no such thing as locked up in a room or anything like that. Quite the contrary. We were very, very outgoing. I think myself and my sister's personalities do help a little bit in that regard. We are very outgoing by personality, and as a family, we love interacting. So no, it was through sport, through homeschool outings, meeting other homeschoolers, through church or churches for that matter, youth groups, and just daily interaction as well. Inviting people over. We often had people over on weekends. In fact, growing up in my teen years, I actually can't remember a single weekend when we were alone as a family other than on holiday. So no, social interaction, there was no shortage of that. The difference between the issue with homeschooling is not do you get socializing skills or socializing exposure. It's the type of socializing that you get. So yes, I wasn't interacting with the same age group, day in, day out, but I was interacting with all age groups day in and day out. And that is quite something that I'm actually very thankful for, to be able to have a wonderful time across all age barriers. And I've greatly benefited from that. There's a lot of wisdom that I've not gained, I would say, careful to put myself on a pedestal here, but learned. There's a lot that I've learned from elderly people, just sitting there, just listening to them, and the experience that they've gone through in life, and And so, yeah, I would say that my social life was definitely more protected in some way as well, though. So yes, we were sheltered to some extent, but again, it depends on what you mean by sheltered. If it comes to the kind of things that that have very negative consequences on a person's life, yes, I was sheltered. But in terms of fun and having a wonderful, fulfilled life, growing up and growing in the communication skills and things like that, oh no shortage whatsoever. Just everything else except the classroom was there. Yeah.
My last question, I think you've actually answered, but I want you to maybe still give a one-sentence answer. Do you think that home education prepared you for life as an adult?
Definitely. Yes. Again, that would probably have been a doubt that I might have had, growing up, not quite sure if I'm going to make it. And then slowly but surely, as I, through my sporting career and then later into the working career, I then realized, wow, I actually went to my mom and dad one specific day, and I actually went to them and I said, and this is now not too long ago, so it does take a while. And I said, listen, I just want to thank you so much for what you guys invested in me and my sister, and how much and how the time, the effort, the type of conversations, the type of exposure has really prepared me, I believe, well, for the real world, in being able to work every day and still learn at the same time. The love for learning still continues. That never drops away. So I definitely believe, in terms of interacting with people of all ages, being able to pick up a tool and work with it. And if I'm not sure how to do something, to go and research it and go and find the answer, instead of just expecting someone to give it to you all the time. Yes, those of the small few details, yes, has definitely prepared me well. And I'm very, very thankful for that. It's nothing to boast about. It's only gratitude. Yes.
Great. Colin, you serve as inspiration, and I think you've answered so many questions that parents with especially young children have. And I thank you for giving your time and sharing this with us.
Not a problem. No, it's my pleasure. Yeah, grateful to be of service in some way. Yeah.